I'm Denise Johnson, Acting Physician General at the Pennsylvania Department of Health. I am here today with Secretary Dunn and Secretary O'Donnell to bring awareness to a couple of issues. Number one, the high prevalence of ticks in Pennsylvania, as well as some of the diseases that could be caused by ticks, and also to remind our residents what they can do to protect themselves against tick bites. As the weather gets warmer, we know that ticks are more active, and especially at the end of the spring into summer, that's when we have more tick bites. And this year, we're seeing more than ever of tick bites, but also of Lyme disease. In Pennsylvania, every single county within the state does have ticks that carry Lyme disease. And then ticks also can carry other diseases such as anaplasmosis as well as Powassan virus. We know that the way to protect yourself when you're going out is to make sure that you take some measures to protect against ticks. The black-legged ticks, particularly in Pennsylvania, do carry Lyme disease. Again, as well, they can carry other diseases. And people are infected with a tick-borne disease, they can have several symptoms. Sometimes you can have a rash, you can have fevers or chills, sometimes body aches, headaches, all of those. That's why it's concerning now, and we want to make sure that you are prepared. Going outdoors, you want to make sure that you're covering all of your exposed areas with light-colored, lightweight clothing. And you also want to make sure that you avoid areas that ticks really thrive in, so high grass, dense wooded areas, but realizing that any place outdoors may have ticks as well. You also want to use an EPA-approved insect or tick repellent. And then when you come back inside, you want to check yourselves over, check yourself, your children, your pets for any ticks. You want to remove carefully any ticks that you would find safely, but you also want to take a shower to make sure that any ticks that are not attached and are crawling can be removed. And it's also recommended that you put your clothes in the dryer under high heat for about 10 minutes or so to get rid of any ticks that may be there. If you're feeling any symptoms that may be tick-borne related, you want to make sure that you reach out to your healthcare provider and protect yourselves. This summer, don't let a tick make you sick. Protect yourself, your children, and your families and your pets. And I'm going to turn it over right now to Department of Conservation and Natural Resources Secretary Dunn.
Thank you. Thank you, Dr. Johnson. I love that. Don't let a tick make you sick. I've never heard that. I like that a lot. So I'm going to talk a little bit about how to enjoy the outdoors in Pennsylvania without letting a tick make you sick. And in DCNR, we have 121 state parks. Boyd Big Tree is one of them, and welcome to Boyd Big Tree. Our ranger, Jim Martin, here works here on a regular basis, and this is managed out of Little Buffalo State Park, which is up the road in Newport. But Jim himself has had Lyme disease. My husband has had Lyme disease. A lot of my friends have had Lyme disease. But that doesn't mean you can't enjoy the outdoors and be safe. And as Dr. Johnson referred to, you want to wear lightweight clothing, long sleeves, long pants. Tuck the pants into the socks and have boots on. And then believe it or not, even long sleeve shirts like this can be very cool because they can shade you and keep the sun off your skin, but also they can be embedded with tick repellent. You can buy clothing that's embedded with tick repellent, or you can use a spray like this one, permethrin, on your clothes, hang your clothes outside, let it dry. Don't get the permethrin on your skin, but let it, spray it on your hat, your boots, without getting on your skin, and you spray it in your shirt, let your shirt dry, put it on. And making your clothing tick repellent will really help. And certainly at any time you can spray something like that on your boots because that's not going to soak through to your skin. There are things like DEET sprays, all kinds of brand names. It happens to be something I carry in the car. And then for people who really want to avoid DEET and avoid chemicals, there are natural solutions. This is Repel with lemon and eucalyptus. Some people swear by Avon, Skin So Soft. So there's something for everyone. DCNR, of course, we're worried about the visitors to parks and forests. Last year alone, during the pandemic, as people were seeking time in the outdoors and seeking good health through walking and mental health through relaxation, we want to make sure they stay safe, from tick-borne disease. So we try to educate folks on how to recreate safely, and so the clothing I just mentioned, educational materials we have about ticks, showing the types of ticks, and also explaining how to extract one if you do get one. The instructions are on this card. And also the ways to hike and avoid a tick. As Dr. Johnson said, they could be in the grass, especially higher grass. They could be along the trail with a brush, rubbing against the brush of the trees. But if you walk in the middle of the trail, avoid touching vegetation. And if you do go through vegetation, which you may, because if you're like me and looking at birds, you're going to go where the birds are. But then you just need to check your light colored clothing, remove ticks before you get in the car. You don't want to have the tick in the car because it could just jump on you the next day. And then also we worry about our staff. We have 2,000 staff working in parks and forests, many of whom's job is outdoors every day. And like Jim, when they do their job, they're potentially exposed to ticks and then therefore Lyme disease and the other tick-borne diseases. So we really emphasize to our staff, how to stay safe on the job. We take it very seriously. It's our leading health risk that we have for a lot of our staff in the field. So we're constantly looking at ways to keep staff safe and keep visitors safe while recreating and enjoying the outdoors and the wonderful health benefits that you get from all of that. So I'd like to turn it over to DEP Secretary Patrick McDonnell. They have a lot of expertise and responsibility for monitoring and for managing insects and standing water, and a lot of expertise in their lab to talk about how you can understand the tick population, really monitor what's happening and where we're seeing changes in our tick-borne disease. So with that, Patrick?
Sure, thank you. And thanks. I'm Pat McDonnell. I'm Secretary of the Department of Environmental Protection, and pleasure to be here with you today. A couple things. One, just I'll reiterate the welcome to Boyd Bigtree. We enjoy this as a family going through. So if you get an opportunity, certainly encourage you to do these hikes or any of the hikes in any of the state parks. We have a wonderful partnership with Department of Health, where we conduct the surveillance for ticks, as the legislature has appropriated some dollars now to Department of Health to be able to oversee a tick and Lyme disease program. And to give you some sense of what we're seeing within the state, when we conducted our spring survey of ticks, what we found was 5,000 adult blackleg ticks. And within that population, 58% of those had Lyme disease. We do that surveillance, at least 50 ticks in each of the counties across the state. So that is, as Dr. Johnson said, something that we see really across the state. Right now, what we are surveilling for are the nymphs. This is not that adult stage, but a younger stage. And these are ticks that are so small, they resemble a poppy seed, so they're very hard to see. So you have to be very diligent in looking for these. And again, where we're at right now is last year, when we were doing these drags between April and August, we collected almost 1,200. Well, we're on a path to double that this year. We're currently almost 500 nymphs ahead of where we were last year, and we still have the month of August to go. So we're seeing higher prevalence. Now, within the nymph population, you see 27% of those are coming back having Lyme disease, and that's because they haven't had their second blood meal. Fun to be able to reference blood meals as part of my job. But the reality is the nymphs, because they are so small, that's actually where more people get the Lyme disease. So it's very, very important for you to be diligent about that. And as was discussed, there's other disease vectors that we're seeing with the ticks. Including powassan and some others. We're starting to see some additional ticks besides that blackleg ticks, including things like the Asian longhorn and the Lone Star tick that are starting to become established within the state. So this is an issue that is going to be with us going forward, and just something that, we as government need to be aware of, make sure we're utilizing all of our tools in order to be able to understand where the threats are and how we can deal with them. And then two, that we're educating the public on how they can protect themselves from things like Lyme disease. We're going to continue this great partnership that we have with DCNR, with Department of Health, to make sure that we're working to help keep Pennsylvanians safe.